Today on the Topping Show, activists say that we should not use the term feminine hygiene products anymore. A former Border Patrol agent says that the Biden-Harris ordered him to cover up the broken border. Trump gets a championship belt from Tyrus on Fox News. Nancy Pelosi lies about Democrats having a primary and Kamala winning them when in fact none of that happened. The iPhone 16 sales are out there a little bit disappointing. Olive Garden to team up with Uber Eats, and Marlboro parent company to sell the UK-based inhaler after a pushback. All of that and much more on the Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is probably sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with special proficiency IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. I say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have iPhone 16 sales are in, and they're a little bit disappointing, though I'm sure the phone is magical. Well, not really, just slightly better camera and slightly better screen as usual, and maybe a little bit extra bells and whistles that, let's be honest, no one really needs. Now this comes with thanks to Quartz, which specifically Rocco Fabro, right over there, says, quote, Apple iPhone 16 demand is so weak that employees can already buy it at discount. Sales of the new iPhone lineup have so far seemed to fall short of expectations, as well as not being as good as the last iPhone. Now, there is some contradictory information when it comes to the actual employees being able to buy the products at a discount. On X Twitter, they're saying, some folks saying employees can always buy the products at a discount. Others are saying yes, they can, but usually it's after a certain amount of period of time, so that the first people can buy the product are paying a premium because of the end users. So a little bit pushback on the headline there. Now, you scroll down a little bit, you can see the magical new iPhone, and oh my gosh, it's a little bit thinner. And the camera, they moved the lenses, so now they're on top of each other. So there's two lenses, and yeah, it's magical, I'm sure. Costs more than a month's rent for most folks, and yeah, it makes phone calls, text messages. Yes, it has a camera, a little bit more resolution. Whoop-de-doo. But yeah, let's just say in terms of getting ROI, staying strong with my Samsung S10 Galaxy. It's a workhorse and it's still fighting strong. I'm the only holdout in my family who has the Android. Everyone else is acquiesced to Apple. But I won't give in yet. But I partially jest. Now, going to the actual substance of going to the fiscal data, they say that, quote, in the first weekend since its debut, Apple sold about 37 million iPhone 16 smartphones. Nearly 13% decrease from the iPhone 15 first week of sales a year ago. Now, this writer by the name of Kuo says he attributed the slower first weekend sales lower than expected the 15 or 16 Pro lineup largely because of the staggered release of the Apple Intelligence. Quote, one of the key factors for the lower than expected demand for iPhone 16 Pro series is that the major selling point, Apple Intelligence, is not available at launch alongside the iPhone 16 release. An analyst of pre-orders by Jefferies released Wednesday found that demand for the new iPhone lineup is slowly beginning to improve in the US, with delivery times for the iPhone 16 Pro reaching 2 to 3 weeks in 7 major cities, analyzed by an investment bank, but still below last year's levels. The slate of new AI features, including capabilities within Sapphire Notes, Calculator, and notably Siri for iOS 18, iPad OS 18, and Mac OS Sequoia. I'm pretty sure Apple sold off their car division. They don't want to compete with Toyota. Toyota makes a really good Sequoia. That's a very durable vehicle, unlike an iPhone, which is mostly disposable. Though I partially kid. Yeah, they're gonna have. Why do you need AI in a calculator? And also, why does the calculator need access to your camera and the contacts? Only partially kidding. Some phones are asking for that though. Now they say, quote, Apple with an analyst were betting that these new long-awaited features would drive an upgrade to a super cycle. Yeah, and mark a new era of growth for the tech giant. No, not so much. But recent research into the motivators behind the upgrades found that just 18% of consumers buying a new iPhone because of the new features, the majority only opt to upgrade their smartphones once they become obsolete or are stolen or damaged, which sales should be booming in San Francisco. I mean, theft is a big part of the culture over there these days. Now, they say that much of the shortfall also comes from China, or Trump would say, China, where Apple is facing what Kud calls intense competition, particularly from Huawei and other homegrown rival smartphone manufacturers, which Yeah, Apple got pretty lucky. They were blessed, or convenient in the U.S. where the government said we're going to ban Huawei, which again is just glorified Chinese spyware, which they're one of the major tech manufacturers in China. A lot of stolen tech, but they make a sleek product, and you used to be able to get it in the United States until they had the big import ban. And also, you look at all the networking telecommunications equipment Huawei's manufacturing. If it turned out, oh wow, backdoor the Chinese government, probably not a great thing to have. So we're gonna nix that. One of the few reasons Nokia still exists, believe it or not. Apparently, partially kid, but they do a lot of telecom equipment. Now, they also have unprecedented economical and political uncertainty with high record inflation. Is the average American really going to go out and buy this new iPhone? Unless, again, it gets stolen or broken. Sure, I guess in that case. But yeah, I think one of the biggest contributing factors to why people aren't buying this phone in droves is the economy. I mean, most businesses I work with, they are trying to slash their budget left and right. Very, very few industries are growing, with the exception of the defense industry. They're doing quite well, but pretty much every other business is struggling. Most people are trying to tighten their belts and not buy extravagant things you don't need. And I don't think it's going to be good. Well, granted, there's about one quarter. The end of the year is close. I think things will pick up at the election because again, there's less uncertainty. But yeah, right now, I mean, even though it's supposed to be the best time of year for businesses, getting close to Q4, I still think we're going to see a lot of hesitation in the market. A lot of people are not going to buy purchasing extravagant products like this. I really don't see it. And again, it has some magical AI for your calculator. Ooh, whoop-de-doo. I mean, again, I'm sure there's some interesting features of the other things that are going to plug in there. And oh shoot, just putting AI in any conversation makes some people's eyes light up in excitement. But yeah, in terms of, is there a really big, compelling, tantamount reason of why you need the latest upgrade for this iPhone? I mean, I would say not really. And again, even though long term Apple's one of the most successful companies since the dawn of time, and give them credit, they built out a huge culture with their people who buy the products want to be in the whole Apple ecosystem. Personally, I'm a little bit of a rebel with my Garmin watch, partially digress. But yeah, I'm not surprised the sales are lackluster, and maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe everyone for Christmas will want to buy one of these things, but let me know in the comments. Do you have an iPhone? Do you have an Android? And would you buy one of these things? Do you want the AI capabilities so much to the point where you would buy a brand new cell phone? Let me know in the comments, because as always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have Olive Garden teaming up with Uber Eats, but in an awkward way that's not great for consumers. It's actually not even in the app. Now this comes to us thanks to CNN Business, which oddly enough is still in business. I'm pretty surprised. I'm probably 18% of their network traffic these days, but I only partially exaggerated. That's a writer thanks to Jordan over there says, quote, Olive Garden strikes deal with Uber to deliver its food, which the headline sounds good. I'm not sure who wants Olive Garden these days. I guess if you want massive carbs in your diet, and yeah, and you appreciate, warm, microwave pasta, perhaps. I'm really partially kidding. There's a released slide deck a couple years ago about how much they care about their pots and pans, so they don't salt the water because they thought it would actually, null the factory warranty for their kitchen equipment. Yeah, but their little pots and pans are more important than the taste. Now, they say, quote, once a holdout on offering delivery for casual diner, Olive Garden is reversing its course and will use Uber to deliver its breadsticks and pasta. Darden Restaurants, the chain's parent company, announced an exclusive multi-year partnership with Uber that will begin there this year with a limited number of Olive Garden locations and will likely expand to the more 900 locations next May if the pilot is successful. I can't believe there's that many locations. Do you know anyone who's gone there the past 12 years? I think I've gone once, and it's lackluster to say the least. They say, quote, Olive Garden already offers deliveries through its website and app for catering orders with a $100 minimum delivered by the restaurant's employees. Moving forward, the chain will be outsourced to deliver to Uber Eats drivers. However, the restaurant won't be available on the Uber Eats app, and the food will only be ordered on Olive Garden's website and app. I'm going to let that pin drop for a second there. What? I understand the power of data, and every company wants to gather as much as possible because, again, it's a huge value add, and you have all this extra analytics, but in terms of an awkward thing, what do people have more on their cell phones these days? Uber Eats or Olive Garden? I know people have the McDonald's phones or the McDonald's app. They're pretty clever. They had a lawsuit there. They said you get free French fries if you just download the app and set up an account, which cost them a lot of money up front. But they were able to build that user base and subsequently became more profitable. But mean, for Olive Garden, would you want to go through the effort of downloading an Olive Garden app on your phone, yet more spyware to see what you're up to all the time? That you're, I mean, how frequently are people going to order Olive Garden? Like, if I use an app at least once per week, I try to uninstall it. I Yeah, unless you are just getting Olive Garden like 7 days a week, why would you have that app on your phone? To me, that would be a no-go. Now, CEO of Darden, Rick Cardenas, says, quote, guests have been asking for us for home delivery options, and they continue to show that they are willing to pay for the convenience, unquote. Really? I I never think of, like, when I want food delivered to me, if I was a fancy millionaire, get food delivered to me from a restaurant, I would never go, what do I want delivered? Pasta. Like, of all the foods to be delivered, I can't think that would be the one that would be the worst in terms of, like, just taste degradation. Granted, I guess if it's microwave from the beginning, microwave it again, maybe I won't hurt it. Now, he continues saying, quote, he said Uber was a clear choice of the partnership because it's giving the chain guest data and insights, and that doesn't hamper its, quote, competitive advantage and simple operating model. Darden was shunned from services like Uber and DoorDash in the past, saying that the splitting the revenue with a third-party service erodes the company's profitability and the food isn't delivered to its standards. Even during the height of the pandemic, Olive Garden didn't use the service, even though the services benefited their competitors. Shares of Darden jumped 9% because of this news. Jeez Louise, really? All right. I guess people are going to order those breadsticks in droves to have them delivered to home. Apparently. Here. Oh, that would be the photo they use for Olive Garden customer. Or maybe I guess that's a sad Uber Eats driver. Someone who's wearing flip-flops with socks. Again, I'm not no fashion aficionado, but even I know that's heresy. You never do that. That's ridiculous. So they also say that Olive Garden doesn't offer any discounts as competitors do. Instead, the strategy has been to hold off on raising prices as much as they can, as well as bringing back promotions like popular never-ending pasta earlier this year to help maintain the chain's bottom line. Which, yeah, so it took them 5 years to adopt this strategy delivery, which I guess some people would be willing to pay to actually have Olive Garden delivered to them. Like, I don't know, to me, I would conceivably pick any other food category product to be delivered to me before pasta. Granted, I'm not a big pasta fan to begin with, but yeah, very interesting. Granted, it'll probably increase their sales, and it sounds like they're gonna get some of the data from, they're gonna have some data sharing, but I, yeah, just really, really bizarre. At least to me, and I guess the free markets, people are buying more stock, they're appreciating the direction. But let me know. Do you think it's a little too little, too late? Do you think there's really an overwhelming demand for people who want pasta delivered to them? They really need those breadsticks that bad? I mean, pasta is the easiest thing on the planet to make. I mean, to me, when I was in college, that was like the cheapest thing. You get a can of Hunt's sauce for like 63 cents or something like that, and a thing of the Barilla pasta for like under $2. Like, it takes so little effort to make pasta. You're already at home. I can't conceivably think of having so much disposable income where you can't take a couple minutes to just boil water, throw pasta in there, and just microwave some sauce. I mean, so to me, it's incomprehensible to be in that position. But let me in the comments. Do you know anyone or you yourself would want to have that delivered to you, and would you be able to pay for it? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the Culture Prod podcast, you have an activist saying that we shouldn't use terms like feminine hygiene products. And not just because it's an awkward term, which some people might read as feminine or feminine. No, it's it's not because it's an awkward vernacular, it's just because of the concept. So this comes to us thanks to the good old libs of TikTok, where she says, quote, LGBTQ activist says not to use the term feminine hygiene products in order to be inclusive for all the different types of people who use menstrual products. Your daily reminder that only women get periods, unquote. Which nowadays, as insane as it sounds, is considered a controversial statement. Can't help but think half the country didn't go to health ed class, or just used basic knowledge, or read one book in their life around basic human anatomy. Yet another reason to homeschool your kids. Now, a little horrifying, but it's only about 11 seconds long, not too bad. Now, of course, this individual's fashion, it looks, it's always weird. I don't know why some people have it. What do you call it, when they glue on nails onto your nails, and then they're like spikes that are 2 inches long. I don't know how you get any work done, or if this individual's works at all, but I just can't conceivably see how you do anything in terms of your daily life having those comically long nails. This person looks, I guess the only surprising thing is not the myriad of flags that are un-American behind the person, but looks about how you think. I'll go ahead and I'll expand it here. Oh, it already expanded. Well intended. Let's hear what this person has to say.
This but that. Here's a gender inclusive tip. Instead of feminine hygiene products, swap it for menstrual hygiene products, and now you're not only including cis women, but also trans men and some non-binary and intersex folks as well. This but
Yeah. I'm actually surprised this isn't a public school teacher. That might be the biggest curveball of this whole thing. This was originally posted thanks to Libercat Media TM. I think it was about as I thought. Got about 200,000 views and 5.1 thousand likes. I mean, maybe we're just so desensitized to this thing already that we're not really surprised anymore. Just like, yeah, I mean, kind of like Tim Walz wanting to put tampons in the boys' restrooms for no legitimate reason. Now, go to the top comments. You have America Papa Bear saying, quote, men and women are, or sorry, men are men and women are women. Men cannot be women. Women cannot be men. I'm not the smartest man in the world, but it's not rocket science. I quote, getting 143 likes. Libercat Media TM says, quote, who wants to tell him only women have uteruses and therefore women needs feminine hygiene products? And then it's a trans flag saying, quote, providing cover for every person, perversion and fetish, getting 122 likes. Which apparently as a biological man, started to tell is very overweight, has earrings, let's be honest, stone. Earrings about the size of a small Volkswagen, and wearing a feminine muumuu, and hair like a gal as well, though wide face. You also have cool Christian engineer saying, quote, here they go again, make life harder. You know, what was it? Taylor Swift's ex-boyfriend. Who's that guy? Taylor or Tyler Kelsey, some girl name. But he's on the football field yelling. He's at the LGBT propaganda on his forehead. And he's yelling at the coach, and the coach is me just trying to live my life. Got 46 likes. Arthur Eagleman says, quote, only women menstruate, getting 501 likes. Paul Zupa says, quote, I'd be very curious to know how human with XY chromosomes get a period, getting 54 likes. Let's see here. Planet Memes finally responded to meme forums. It's been a slow week for them. They've been responding mainly via text or just, actually just responding by posting, a sentence. But they did a meme this time. So Planet Memes has a really eye emoji, and it's a picture of Enchanted Castle, but it says Land of Make Believe. It says all genders and pronouns welcome, getting 58 likes. Texix Aeronaut says, don't talk about hygiene when your nails are the harbor more bacteria than your toilet. And this man's nails are probably 2 inches long. The fake nails, they glue them on top of them. They got 202 likes. Scrolling down more and more, you have Mr. T says, seems legit. And as the meme of the guy pointing his head thinking, it says, think about this. Trans activists are mad at everyone for not accepting who they are, yet they can't accept who they were. Getting 177 likes. Here. Going down more and more. You have Salty Goat says, how do people reach this level of insanity? Getting 680 likes. Let's see. Any contrarian statements, not thus far. Paratrooper Brady says, no, I will not go along with this bullshit. You are trying to make this normal, and I refuse to go along with any of it, including that stupid made-up word non-binary. Getting 238 likes. Let's see here. Going down more and more. Let's see. Marita Rose says, it's such a weird fetish. Why do these men envy the backaches, cramps, abdominal pain, nausea, fatigue, insomnia at the same time of that time of the month? Sick, confused minds. Getting 48 likes. The Common Sense Prevails says, will the madness never end? This looks like a female looking exhausted. Says, when your period is late because you're born mad. Getting 75 likes. Yeah. And remember when Dylan Mulvaney got the brand endorsement? Was it $1 million deal or a couple $100,000 from Tampax, the company? Again, a biological man got a sponsorship from a tampon company. Getting hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's America these days. Let's see. And a single contrarian comment. And again, that ideology is becoming more and more prevalent. Again, more and more tampons thrown into men's restrooms. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if culturally, if the United States kind of shifts back, or maybe this becomes the new norm. I can't but think, I mean, a lot of people are just they're bullied into being compliant or quiet, and they're just worried to say anything at all. So maybe, but I'm a little skeptical. Let me know in the comments. Have you seen this in your workplace, or does your employer already have, men's bathrooms where they have tampons on the wall? And do you think this ideology will continue to spread? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Going over to the political part podcast, you have a border agent saying that the Biden-Harris, well, they actually instructed him to cover up the disaster at the border, which is the biggest disaster in U.S. history. Again, estimated between 11 and 20 million illegals across the United States in the past 40 months. Bigger than the population of the majority of the states. And yet, this has become a political issue one would think, well, in theory, all Americans would say we need security at the border. We need to know who's coming here. We need to make sure that we vet them. We need to make sure they're not criminal background. Maybe make sure they're value add. Maybe they have some skill sets we need. I mean, just for security alone, you'd think every American would say, yeah, we need a strong border. And yet, for decades, it's become a political issue with people traditionally on the left saying we should have no border at all. And then people on the right saying we should have a border and security. And some libertarians saying there should be no borders anywhere, which I'd say many of my beliefs are libertarian oriented, although not in that regard. And yeah, it's become a very hot political issue. You see the same copy-paste thing from Democrats and Republicans. Every couple of years, they'll let a bunch of illegals in. Democrats will say amnesty, and then we'll fix the border. And the rhinos, Republicans say, oh yeah, we'll do that. And yet, they never actually make a secure border. Friendly reminder, we spent about $200 billion for Ukraine to try to defend their border. And we can't even spend $12 billion on ours. Which goes to show you where our government really cares about. Not our people, not our border. Now, Elon actually responded to this statement also on the good old X Twitter. That was originally posted by End Wokeness. It says, quote, holy shit, former Chief Border Patrol Agent Aaron Heinke was ordered by Biden-Harris to cover up the disaster on the border. Elon responded saying, wow, one of the most viral things, about a minute, 40 seconds. And like all gentlemen, this individual did suit up, as all men should. And let's see what he has to say here.
In San Diego, we had an exponential increase in significant interest aliens. These are aliens with significant ties to terrorism. Prior to this administration, the San Diego sector averaged 10 to 15 SIA arrests per year. Once word was out the border was far easier to cross, San Diego went to over 100 SIAs in 2022, well over that in 2023, and even more than that registered this year. These are only the ones we caught. At the time, I was told I could not release any information on this increase in SIAs or mention any of the arrests. The administration was trying to convince the public there was no threat at the border. Fentanyl is another issue. The San Diego area sees between 80 and 90% of the methamphetamine and fentanyl seizures annually for our entire country. With little enforcement at the border, these drugs were coming through en masse. During my last year in San Diego, the price for a single pill of fentanyl, for example, went from $10 to 25 cents. To make matters worse, during 2022 and 23, I had to shut down San Diego traffic checkpoints, which are critical for drug interdiction, because the resources had been diverted to the process and release mission. The large numbers also had and still have a negative impact on the San Diego community. I had to release illegal aliens by the hundreds each day into communities who could not support them. To quiet the problem, 2 flights a week were provided from San Diego to Texas. These flights simply brought aliens that would have been released in San Diego over to Texas. Each flight cost approximately $150,000.
What?
This was the administration's way to try and quiet the border-wide crisis.
Terrible, and importing them to our country. Jeez, 150,000. Jeez, Louise. No wonder our taxes go up all the time, and even the deficit also increases. We went pretty good. Wow, we got 13.3 million views, 139,000 likes. From the first one, it's coming from America Papa Bear, saying, quote, this is treason at its highest level. Where are the impeachments? Getting 385 likes, which, well, there will be impeachments, but those are only handed out to people who are on the right of the side of the political aisle. We also have Gunther Eagleman saying, quote, someone needs to be held accountable. Agreed, getting 739. Let's make it 740 likes. We also have Paul Zupa saying, quote, this is treason, getting 191 likes. We also have a contrarian, Franklin, the weird leftist who is a man. His whole profile is about voting for Harris, but he has an animated picture of a girl as his profile. But I follow him because, again, echo chambers get a little bit boring. Now, it looks like in true leftist fashion, this individual's not actually addressed the topic of discussion here, but rather just says, wow, and it says 1 day ago, Elon shared the Electoral College map changing. Yep, so completely, did you get They still got 26 likes, even though it had nothing to do with the original post. Ridiculous. Though it is a verified profile. Ridiculous, Franklin. Now, other major comments coming from, oh, this is a pretty long profile name. Pretty descriptive, you know what they're about. Ultra Super Duper Mega says scandal of the year and the media won't cover it. True, getting 13 likes. Can't but wonder if the gal actually gets more online traction than the real Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is the Marjorie Taylor Greene press release parody account saying, quote, close and secure the border, our country depends on it, getting 532 likes. Someone by the name of, oh yeah, this Perkles are great. Saying, quote, government in democracies is supposed to inform the citizens so they can evaluate policies and decide if the changes need to be made. This is no longer happening. Critical, polarized, politicized policy areas, border and crime related, our government is intentionally misleading us. As a little picture says, the purpose of the United States Constitution is to limit the power of the federal government, not the American people. Unquote, getting 601 likes, which, yeah, I wish more politicians realized that when, yeah, they pretty much pass more and more laws and policies to restrict us and tax us to death. We also have America 357, an old school cartridge, not as classic as the good old, God's cartridge, the 45 ACP, but a good cartridge nevertheless. It says it's treason. It says treason. You don't steal an election, give money and weapons to Taliban, destroy our military, destroy our food supply, destroy our energy and gas, disassemble our border, and encourage invasion of our country, and not be treasonous act against your own country people. Pretty long, but that picture did get 238 likes. We also have Wall Street Apes says, quote, let me guess, absolutely nothing will be done about this. Absolutely no one will be held accountable. Just more lawlessness from the Kamala Harris administration and accomplices. We don't have a government. We are ruled by lawless mafia. Getting 1.1 thousand likes. Well, you can make the argument that the mafia actually protected stores if they paid on time. Of course, they're also morally bankrupt and evil. You could argue in terms of getting a service from your money given to them. As sad as it sounds these days, yeah, you can make the argument they actually give more. There's how much the government takes from us. I mean, I just can't fathom if most Americans were, if you just sat down and looked at the math, how much the government steals from us. Again, this is something that happens on the left and the right. And just think, you got 40% potentially being stolen via the federal income tax. If your state allows it, you have maybe like 10% in income tax. That's about half your paycheck gone just from working. And then maybe you have, what else do you have? Then you have the sales tax. Maybe another 8 to 10% on top of that. Then you have alcohol tax, tobacco tax, telecom tax, car registration tax, gasoline tax. Again, what really gets me, I someday hope to aspire to own property. Unfortunately, not in that position yet. But again, property tax, paying for something you already own is just, to me, one of the most viscerally disgusting things. But yeah, there's so many of these taxes: inheritance tax, estate tax, capital gains tax. I mean, proposed by Kamala Harris, you have an unrealized capital gains tax should be viscerally disgusting and destroy the market and the economy as well. There's so many taxes, and don't even get started on Social Security, you got unemployment tax. There's so many taxes. Of every dollar we earn, if we sat down and did a Venn diagram, which Kamala Harris loves those, she would never do this about the subject, of course, but of every dollar we earn, how much do we really get? How much of that dollar is really ours at the end of the day? It's viscerally disgusting. I mean, and this is something that's been increased by Republicans and Democrats in terms of ramping up taxes throughout the years. And again, it's also a state thing as well as a federal thing in terms of all those taxes. And yet nowadays, you actually get more benefits by just breaking in, which also shows who the government loves and who they hate. Now, going back to the major comments section, we also have, let's see here. Christina Kaliansky says they need to be arrested now, getting 15 likes. Chuck Casello says, quote, they are attempting to change the demographics of the United States. If she takes your seat, your vote will no longer matter. Your voice, sorry, will no longer matter. Getting 523 likes. Well, they also want to censor me. She also very adamant about censoring social media, so that would be another way she would take your voice. Throwing down more and more. Not really any contrarian statements here, as far as I can tell. Let's see. Indexia American Truther says, how is this not total treason? Why isn't the Biden-Harris administration not being held accountable or for crimes against humanity? How many more in the administration knew while releasing the purse strings to allow this criminal act? Getting 153 likes. Yeah, it's kind of the nice thing about the public sector. More often than not, no one's held accountable, and at most you get a slap on the wrist and get a paid leave of absence, which is ridiculous to say the least. So, unfortunately, even with this testimony, Do I think anyone will actually be held accountable for this? No. I should say it's not 0%. I would say it's probably approximately 0.00000008275%, approximately, that someone will actually be held accountable or maybe fired or in any way fined or reprimanded for this. But maybe you're more optimistic. Let me know in the comments. Do you think anyone will be held accountable for me? Do you think more and more Americans are starting to wake up to the fact of just the inherent security flaws alone, as well as the economic issues that it comes with? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Trump getting the champion belt from Tyrus on Fox News and going viral. This was originally posted by someone by the name of Bo Loudon, saying, quote, "Superstar Tyrus just gave, rightful President Trump a championship belt." That's about 45 seconds long, but one of the most viral thing, gave 1.4 million views. And it says, share it, let's go viral. And that to take out the little screen over there.
Oh, thank you for WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Sorry.
Oh, thank you for WrestleMania 4 and 5, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But if you're going to sit in that chair, if you're going to do the Tyrus experience, you have to do it right, because you are the people's champion, Mr.
Oh,
Trump.
wow.
And on behalf of all the people of America, this is the
I like that. Now I'm really like. That's a good one.
That's the man who makes all the professional ones.
Beautiful, yeah.
There you go. It's a crowd.
No, but this is the real one. This is a real deal. This
Yeah.
Is,
No, I'm going to give a fake belt to the next
no, I
president.
We're more used to that. That's good. Thank you, Tyrus.
You are the people's champion.
You're gonna.
Oh, thank
That belt literally, I mean, probably gold plated, but yeah, legitimate belt. And it's got Trump's name. I mean, that's not just Sharpied on. That is legitimately a metal press stamping that in there. You got a little bit of paint there for American flag on it. Also, the poster behind Trump says Trump taking your questions. Very unique, because a lot of politicians these days don't do that. Or can't. Or little column A, little column B. Again, Web Preview Valley got 1.4 million views as well as 73,000 likes. Well, the first one's coming from XRP saying, quote, "This is real. Well, you're the effing president. You'd think I'd give you a fake belt." Instant classic, getting 184 likes. Betsy Ross says, "Love Tyrus. Great gift for our greatest president." Getting 136 likes. Wildy, formerly Latina for Trump, says, "I love it. Trump's face just lit up with such a gift. Such a small thing for him. Made him smile. When he does that, he does so much for us. Just a sweet person and tough as steel." Getting 264 likes. Somebody named Scott Foster says she should wear it, especially Melania. Getting 15 likes. While the formerly Latina also says this is excellent. Trump truly loves that. Getting 138 likes. Bad Daddy says the people's champion. That's awesome. Getting 49 likes. America Wall says super cool. Saw him holding back some chuckles. Love it. Getting 72 likes. Tony Shaw, let's let Unity go, says got 17 likes for saying super fantastic. Let's see. Anything contrary to statements? I don't see anything thus far. Alan Poe says the people's champion. That was really cool. Getting 25 likes. Alka 9915 says, "I'm glad I watched. It was very delightful." Getting 59 likes. JD says, "I watched the show. It was awesome." Getting 43 likes. I was gonna say I don't want to say record breaking, but when's the last time anyone actually tuned into Fox? When was The Simpsons popular? 1998? It's been a long time. But we also have Gregory saying that was one of Gutfield's best shows, getting 98 likes. I'd say it's one of the few remaining good candidate or personalities and folks on that show. One has a gif of Rocky. Joseph Berbert says, "Bravo Tyrus," getting 23 likes. Yeah, probably probably the most viral moments of Trump past year or so. Yeah, it's hilarious. I mean, he's been part of WrestleMania, part of the UFC, part of that for decades. Oh wait, I had to scroll for New York Minute, but I found someone by the name of Anyone But Trump. Appropriate name in terms of their mindset is, and it's a verified account. It's got the little check mark, so it's not just a bot. Though perhaps it has a personality of a bot, but nevertheless, this individual by the name of Anyone But Trump, well, they got more followers than me. Got 1,160 followers. Again, friendly reminder to follow me at #TheToppingShow at the good old X Twitter. And they have a little gift of some animated baby. It says boring. Baby looks like it's going to sleep. Did get 1 like. There's one contrarian statement. Useless Eater says, "Please, for the love of God, wear that at your next rally, Donald Trump." Getting 10 likes, which that would be pretty funny if you were to do that. And we have... Oh, that's hilarious. That's how I know it's gals. I don't know what she's doing in terms of she has to be automating this crap. So someone by the name of Sam, which is a verified profile, she's a leftist, and she keeps shilling these t-shirts for Democrats, which in terms of capitalism, I think it's awesome. Selling t-shirts is a great way to make a living for a lot of folks. But she doesn't actually ever address the substance, something we see a lot from leftists. All she says is brilliant, and then it's a picture of the Tide logo bastardized to say vote. It says removes stubborn orange stains. No likes, but 182 people did see her post. But yeah, it looks like we had 1 or 2 contrarian statements or comments, but not too many. And again, this is probably one of Trump's funniest moments since he went up against one of the, Logan Paul or one of the Paul brothers that pretends to box. Kind of did a quick little face-off before they broke out smiling a couple months back. It's pretty entertaining. And I think more of these moments are going to help people in the middle, people who are maybe on the fence vote for Trump, is to kind of see he's kind of not only does he have exceptional policies for the economy, but he also has personality. He's human, which more than you say about some of his competition. But let me know, do you think these types of interviews, these types of clips, do they actually move the political needle at all? Do you think it's kind of more or less the people who are already watching are going to vote for him regardless and not really going to influence most? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Nancy Pelosi lying about the Democratic primary, claiming that Kamala won when, no, actually not at all. No one voted for her. She was just wheeled in when they forced Biden out. I mean, again, this is, if you're a Biden fan, you should viscerally not agree and not be happy with the Democrat Party. It's very similar to, I think, to when, another big red flag, blue flag perhaps, was when Bernie Sanders won in terms of, back in the 2016 election with the primary, the people were voting for Bernie Sanders. But the super delegates overrode what the people wanted. They installed Hillary Clinton because they thought she had better odds of beating Donald Trump, which subsequently, no, she did not. She did not at all, thankfully. And yet, Bernie Sanders still sits for the DNC for some reason, though, they screwed him over. The people were voting for him, and yet, no, they just said, we know better. We're going to ignore what the people want. And when it comes to the last election, the people in the Democrat Party, they were voting for Biden. They wanted him to run again. Biden was very adamant. He wanted to run in all the interviews, all his statements. He said that. Of the few words I could understand, I did understand that. And yet, after the debate with Trump, where he crashed and burned, almost as bad as a Boeing airplane, but there's an instance where after that, all of a sudden, via a tweet, which we know he does not control, we've seen multiple times where KGP, or the White House Press Secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, well, we have instances where she's tweeted in his vernacular, in his perspective, and it was her profile. So we know he ain't running his ex-Twitter account, and yet he dropped out by a tweet, which is why I don't think he wanted to. I think he was forced to, and a lot of people are saying, maybe Obama's pushing that. And then all of a sudden the media also said, we went from thinking Kamala is mediocre and terrible, and then the next day the mainstream media was saying Kamala's great, she's going to be an exceptional candidate. Now, this was brought to us thanks to Drew Hernandez over on the good old X-Twitter, which he says, quote, Nancy Pelosi is just straight up lying now, claiming Democrats had an open primary after Joe Biden was pressured to step out of the race. She's claiming Kamala Harris won the open primary. Not a single person voted for Kamala Harris to be the 2024 nominee, which, fact check, true. And it's only about 22 seconds long, but, I was going to say, I apologize. I should put a visual warning that you're going to see Nancy Pelosi, and unfortunately, I don't think she's going to give us any stock tips, which, interesting how she's the most successful stock trader, even more successful than Warren Buffett. Almost as if she's controlling, manipulating the market or has insider data, but I partially digress.
You had reportedly said you wanted a sort of an open primary if Joe Biden stepped down. Did you change your mind because you saw all the excitement around Kamala Harris?
No, I didn't change my mind. We had an open primary and she won it. Nobody else got in the race because she was politically astute. And
she says she was politically. She said Kamala Harris is politically astute. No. Look at the people in the Democrat Party. There are a lot better candidates that could. Just strategically, they should have put someone else. The big rumor is they had to choose her because that's where all the campaign funds were going, and they had so much money tied up in there already. So that's, in terms of why they have chose her, that's kind of the main speculation around that. But yeah, it wasn't a primary. They literally just installed her. And yeah, again, the people should be irate that the people who voted for Joe Biden, they should be irate that they pushed him aside. And another interesting thing, remember the mainstream media was MSNBC? The hours before the debate with Donald Trump, They said that was the sharpest and most articulate they'd ever seen Biden in his life. And then, yeah, after the debate, they go, oh, yeah, he's got health problems. He got to drop out. He's terrible. Yeah. Now, it went pretty well. It got 8.7 million views as well as 39,000 likes. One of the first comments coming from Giannavi Mariolis saying, quote, lying is the only tool at the Democrats' disposal. Every one of them must be removed from a position of authority. Gained 1.6 thousand likes, which, yeah, number one way to do it is get out there and vote. Go to Hobby Lobby, get some nice cardstock, maybe a little poster board, and go to a rally, have peaceful protests, and let your political opinions be heard. Also, Drew Hernandez responding to that, saying, quote, all they do is lie, getting 814 likes. Also have Dominic Michael Trippi saying, quote, the level of deception is borderline criminal. Also, why is an 84-year-old still in Congress? Getting 5,000 likes, which, that's been an ongoing debate in terms of how old can you be to serve public office, and everyone ages differently. You have Warren Buffett's most successful stock trader in history, well, who didn't manipulate the market, and he's in his 90s. He's slowed down, you can tell by his speech, but he's still very articulate in making exceptional stock trading decisions. So I don't know how effective it would be to have that blanket rule in place. Probably more often than not, it would make sense. There is a limit in terms of you have to be a certain age to run. There is a certain thing you cannot run until you're a certain age. Like if you're 18, you cannot run for president. And I think in our lifetime, maybe we'll see some type of restriction. But yeah, 84 years old, I mean, as long as they're articulate, they're doing the job, there is that inherent risk that unfortunately they could pass away, as time does. But yeah, I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments. Do you think that's going to be a big point of controversy in the next couple of years, or concerns? Will people push back? I mean, in general, I think there should be some limits. There really isn't in terms of public sector in that regard. You also have Drew Hernandez saying, quote, I'm sure she has several blackmail adult films in a vault somewhere to use against those who try to remove her from California. Getting 1.7 thousand likes. That'd be horrifying. Paul Zuzupa says quite a lie, getting 50 likes. Notice this, quote, if all others accepted the lie which the party imposed, if all the records were the same tale, then the lie passed into history and became truth. George Orwell, 1984. Horrifying, but a brilliant quote from one of the best books in history, 1984. I think I've reread my copies more times than I can count. And then if you have kids at home, or if you have kids getting into reading, Animal Farm is a great alternative. Much more easier to digest in terms of the vernacular and the verbiage. And also, it's about half the size in terms of the page count. And so I'd say definitely, everyone should read that because it shows you how bad things get when you have big government. Barbara Essa says, quote, can we let Gavin know Speaker Pelosi is violating his new law against misinformation and anti-meme law committing election interference as well? Getting 400 likes, but we know law is only selectively applied these days. Jonathan Griebel, it's the meme from Saturday Night, Chris Farley, SNL, where he's talking to David Spade or the other David. Or Drew Carey. Yeah, they look similar. It is David Spade, though. But he's turning instead of David Spade as Kamala Harris says, remember when you dropped... I can't do Chris Farley. Chris Farley's accent? No, I dare not attempt. He says, remember when you dropped out of the 2020 presidential race because you were polling at 1%? That was awesome. Getting 485 likes, which, yeah, that happened. Also have Billy Bob saying, how many votes did Comrade Harris get? 0. That means there's no election and there's no primary. She's lying. She's lying her vodka-soaked pants off right now. Getting 523 likes. It was someone by the name of the Bald Libertarian saying, quote, here's a shot from the open primary. It's an AI-generated image of Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, and another gal I can't recognize. Yeah, looking quite horrifying. Getting 160 likes, though. See, any contrarian statements thus far? See. Let's see. Not seeing any. Austin says, liberals, do you really accept this? Getting 51 likes, which, not all of them, but many of them are all the mental ideology of vote blue no matter who. They really don't care who's on the ballot. They're going to vote party, which historically has been doing too well, but yeah, that's their whole ideology. That's their religion. You also have Curtis Forster saying, quote, wait, Nancy told a lie? Shocker, but this is a pretty blatant attempt to rewrite history. The audience clapped is even more concerning, getting 105 likes, which, yeah, a lot of sheeple out there. Let's see. Our comments comes from Robert Armstrong saying, quote, closed primary resulting in RFK Jr. joining Trump due to being snubbed repeatedly. A ridiculous lie, and the media won't even contradict Pelosi. So very sad, getting 79 likes, which, well, yeah, they just de facto work for her. When was the last time you actually saw them push back hard or question them? Really, never. Let's see here. Joe Schomburg says the primary between all the voices in her vodka added brain, maybe. Getting 44 likes. Gal Golic says the language of Satan lies. Pelosi is demotic. Getting 42 likes. Let's see. David Scullion says liar. Says, quote, unless you voted for Kamala Harris in the primary, please refrain from calling Trump a threat to democracy. It makes you look super dumb. Getting 24 likes, which say what you want about Trump or the RNC. They certainly have their flaws, but the people did vote for Trump. And again, that got 24 likes. Let's see. So not too many contrarian statements at all here. And yeah, it's one of those instances where I wish more people read 1984. I really do, because again, rewriting history is never a good thing. And yeah, it's just a blatant lie. And again, the people voted for Biden. And yet after the debate, the party decided, oh yeah, we're gonna just push this guy out, regardless of what he wants or what the people were voting for. So it's quite concerning to say the least. Not too surprising. And again, she's pretty secure in her position in terms of her political path. Nancy Pelosi, I don't think she'll be voted out. Frankly, the people locally like her, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see if does Gavin Newsom go after her for this election interference. I jest he obviously won't, but yeah, let me know. Are you surprised that they're trying to rewrite history to try to make Kamala Harris look more legitimate? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now going over to the business blunder of the day, yeah, Marlboro, well, their owner is selling their UK inhaler firm over the pushback. Now, Marlboro is perhaps one of the most iconic tobacco-based companies on the planet. I mean, they're one of the first OGs, as the youth might say, and most famously known for their mascot, the Marlboro Man, which, incidentally enough, they had to hire quite many individual men to do that role, since subsequently the individual would prematurely die from tobacco-related illnesses, but I partially digress. This comes to us thanks to Michael Lapnick over at BBC, which, interestingly enough, is still in business. He says, quote, Marlboro owner sells UK inhaler firm after backlash, or over backlash, rather. Touchscreens are great until the moment they don't work, then they're trash. Apologize for the little technical difficulties here. There you can see their products there. I say, quote, the tobacco giant that makes Marlboro cigarettes has sold a UK inhaler company for a knockdown price due to what it called unwarranted backlash. PMI, or Philip Morris International, has offloaded Ventura Group for $198 million just 3 years after buying it in a deal worth more than $1 billion. Ouch! Yeah, shareholders should be pretty irate. They bought it for $1 billion? Oh my gosh, really? So a little more than $1 billion. Oh, sorry, this is British money, pounds. But yeah, I sold it for 150 million pounds, but they bought it for a little over £1 billion. Yeah, in the private sector, we call that terrible. Jeez. They say, quote, PMI's decision to buy Vectura, which makes inhalers to treat lung conditions such as asthma, was criticized as being hypocritical. However, PMI defended the move as part of its strategy to move away from cigarettes and towards smoke-free businesses like vaping. Vaping is different than inhalers. Inhalers, yeah, I don't know about that. They say BNI announced a sale to electronics firm Molex Asia Holdings, saying it releases Ventura from, quote, the unreasonable burden of external constraints and criticism related to our ownership. The deal was still pending approval. We'll see Molex pay an upfront fee of 150 million pounds, or they're using galleons, as I'm pretty sure that's the actual currency in Britain. My research is correct. Now, they say, quote, potential deferred payments of up to 148 million if certain requirements are met. PMI's boss, Jack Osnick, said that the company remains, quote, committed to driving innovation in the space over long term, suggesting it has not moved entirely from the inhaler sector. Now, they say that, quote, the Vectura purchase was part of PMI's push towards a smoke-free world. PMI has said it wants 2/3 of the sales to come from non-cigarettes by 2030, which, yeah, I don't know about that. They tried this decades ago, and it's fascinating to watch old business documentaries where you have these very cyclical strategies come every couple CEOs where they think they're being innovative, when more often than not, just trying an old idea. I believe it actually was PMI International. Again, there's only a couple major tobacco manufacturers, but there's a couple years back where they actually bought I forget the beer company name, but they bought a beer company, and they also bought Citgo, the gas company, to try to move away and diversify their portfolio, thereby also, moving away their focus and focusing on, inherently they weren't doing their major job properly, and we're not focusing on anything. Well, we can't do anything, not do anything good, so it really didn't work. And subsequently, they sold off all those ideas. They say its latest financial results for 3 months ends of June show that more than 60% of its 9.47 billion US dollars sales came from cigarettes. Over that period, PMI accounted for 23.6% of the global cigarette market by revenue. Now, again, this isn't trying to be an augmented thing to vaping. Vaping is the trendy thing that all the hip folks do, apparently. But yeah, and inhalers from basically damaging your lungs. The big controversy was you're selling the product that damages the person and fixes the person, which from a business perspective does guarantee a customer for life. If they were to stop smoking, or well, actually if they smoke too much, they're going to inherently need more often than not, they're going to have a propensity to need that other product. And because they're trying to kind of eat at both ends of the meal, so to say, or try to game both sides, that's where a lot of the major pushback came from. It wasn't just because it was a non-tobacco related item. I mean, I believe they're globally owned by Altria, which is a very fancy name that no one thinks is tobacco related, but they also own the non-tobacco related products like the Zune. No, I was going to say Zune, which is the Microsoft iPod competitor way back in the day, but they have the Zen product for little tobacco byproduct packages, whatever those things are that podcasters go crazy for. Those are increasing popularity, but yeah, when you're selling inhalers, there's just such visual pushback. They should have never bought that in the first place. I understand the logic reasoning why, but if this goes through, which I'm guessing it's going to be signed off on, they just lost about $750 million. Actually, no, it's actually worse than that. About $850 million just vanished from this purchase. Yeah, I don't know who this CEO is who kind of signed off on that purchase decision to buy the inhaler company, but that is terrible. And I would say, yeah, the shareholders should be irate. So the fact they actually went out and they bought that company to begin with, I gotta say, felt more so natural. That is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.